What's up, everyone? I'm Melissa Elise, and you're watching Melissa Elise TV. Welcome to my April book club. In this video, I'll be reviewing the 4th book in the Outlander series, Drums of Autumn, and revealing the next book of the month. Let's get to it. I want to start by saying I love this book. Previously, I said that Dragonfly and Amber was my favorite book of the series so far, but I have to change that because this book was so incredible. And I was really nervous about starting this one. I just didn't know what to expect. With the first 3 books, I had the heads up of what the show has already done, but there's only been some slight hints as to what season 4 will contain, and when you have the ability to travel through time, but you don't understand how or why, anything can happen at any moment. And with Jamie and Claire in the new world, anything really can happen, good or bad. So because of my nervousness, I feel like I tore through this book. I just had to know what was going to happen next. And Diana totally delivers with the excitement and shock and awe value of this book. Drums of Autumn felt like a new beginning to me. They're in the new world, the colonies, and even though chapter 1 drops you right in the middle of an execution and some other suspenseful occurrences, there's this sense of excitement and adventure that Diana captures. The contributing factor for me is that Jamie and Claire finally have the freedom to choose what they want to do with their lives. And I mean, sure, they've made choices in the past, but most, if not all of them, were born out of a necessity to survive or save someone else's life. But now they finally have time to just decide what they want. And I think choice or choices is a huge theme in this book because Jamie and Claire, of course, have to choose where to start building their life and how it's going to affect their future. And then Brianna has to choose whether to stay in the past or go back to her own time. And then eventually Roger has to choose the same thing, but his choice is more of whether to stay with Bree or not. So one of the things I love about this book, and there are many, but the first is that Jamie and Claire actually start to build their life together. That isn't about preventing a war or hiding Jamie's identity or running for their lives. Yes, they have their fair share of danger in the new world, but they're together and they have their little family with young Ian and Rolo the dog and Fergus and Marsley who have a baby, and Jamie starts building Fraser's Ridge and then gathering tenants to live off the land with them. It was just so sweet and heartwarming to read how their life starts taking shape. The introduction of the Native Americans was also very interesting. Diana gives some backstory into how some of the tribes that are still there, what they went through and like how they're functioning now and why they're where they are. And then Jamie and Claire and Ian's interaction with them is always a little nerve-wracking, with good cause, especially there at the end. There's also further encounters with slavery, and what I appreciate about this story is that Jamie and Claire stand by their conscience and convictions on the matter, even though it would be so easy for them to give in because of the time and the convenience. They don't, despite the fact that it would profit them. The other thing I love about Drums of Autumn is the Brianna and Roger storyline. I think it adds to the feeling of this being a new beginning because there's a new love story forming. I have to say there are times where Brianna kind of drives me crazy, but then there are others when she's so strong and brave and smart. And then there's Roger, who is an incredible character. He almost stands up next to Jamie, but Jamie is still the better man, always and forever, in more ways than one. But I still love Roger, and besides the fact that he has this like incredible manly new generation Scots-ness to him, what's great about him is how much he loves Brianna and the lengths he goes to prove it. Man. If you haven't read this book and you're watching this video maybe to see if you should, I cannot advocate more for it. And one of the reasons why I think this book is worth reading, even over any of the others, and granted I haven't read the entire series yet, but there are some things that go down in this book that really will shape the rest of the series. If you're a fan of the show and you haven't read the books or heard the name Stephen Bonnet, you will soon, so get ready. And if you read this book, There's some backstory here that, as wonderful as the show is, I don't know that they'll have time to capture it all. But what's great about Diana's writing is that throughout the whole series, if she refers to something that happened in a previous book, she always recaps it with just the high points. And of course, the characters are great. There are a few new ones, but none take any major shape besides Jamie's aunt, Jocasta Cameron, and the story's new villain, Stephen Bonnet. But all the returning characters continue to be amazing. Jamie, as always, is every bit the Highlander and man you want him to be. Early on in the book, he expresses a conviction and regret for the life that he hasn't been able to build for his family or those under his care. And that's actually my favorite passage in the whole book, alongside Roger asking Bree to marry him and Jamie and Bree's first meeting. Claire continues to be wonderful, taking on a more full mother-hen role, and she does kind of take a back seat in the latter half of the book to what's unfolding between Jamie and Bree, and then later Roger and Bree. But she supports everyone so well, and this book actually gave her and Lord John Grey a lot more time and room to find footing in each other's world. And what a journey John's been on. His parts in this book make me want to read his standalone stories. I always enjoy his character whenever he shows up, but it was so interesting to have him alone with Claire for so long, and then to have him alone with Bree for so long. And he rises to his reputation in both situations, when Claire is threatened and when Bree needs a would-be husband. And since we get the return of John Grey, we also get Willie, and all I can say is I want more. I really hope he's in more stories. There's so much more I could say about this book, but I'd have to go on for hours, and I won't do that, but I will pose a question. In the last chapter of the book, Roger reveals this letter from Frank Randell to Roger's father, Reverend Wakefield, in which Frank reveals some details about a certain tombstone with Jamie's name on it. Now, what I'm wondering is, did Frank forge the tombstone? Is it real or fake, guys? Let me know what you think in the comment section. That's it for Drums of Autumn, but April's book of the month is, of course, The Fiery Cross, and I hope you guys will join me as I continue the Outlander series. And until next month, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more book reviews.